So one day, when I was the manager, pseudo manager, acting manager of the emergency department, I was offered to take a training, and the training was on leadership. And I was put into a 5-day training with other managers, and it was through a company that was contracted to do this type of training. The owner of the company, who was the trainer, and this is a really long story, and it was a series of trainings over the course of a year that we would do, and I think some of them started as 2-day classes, and then ultimately we ended up doing larger classes. And this was a big time of change in healthcare, and this organization was retained to help us navigate all the changes in healthcare. I'm not going to go, that's ancient history now, I don't need to go into that. And healthcare continues to change for those of us that are in it. It's always changing. So that's the absolute thing. It's certain if you work in healthcare is that there's constantly changing going on. Anyway, she approached me after a particular class and asked me if I was ever interested in becoming a trainer. And I hadn't really, that was not a thing that I had ever considered. And make a long story short, one of the nurse managers, nursing supervisors was in the class, and he came up to me after. He said, "I'm sorry, I just kicked you." He said, "I don't ever see her do that. She's pretty awesome, and you probably would want to work for her." So long story short, it took a while for me to say yes, and it took us a while to do the interview process and the onboarding. And within about a year, I was actually starting to do part-time. I was learning how to be a corporate trainer. And so that's how I got from healthcare into my work with HBO and Reebok and Time Warner and hospital organizations around the world. And I worked for that company for 13 years, worked for HBO for 13 years as a consultant, and that's that story. So did that for a while, leaving the emergency department job and going on the road. And that's kind of how all the travel started as well. So that's the corporate training history.